How do you paint movement in a world that demands stillness? That's the question that haunted me when I first encountered The Night Watch. Here was the most famous painting in Dutch history, a work that practically vibrates with energy, and yet for centuries, people didn't even realize what they were looking at. They thought it was a nocturnal scene, shrouded in darkness, when in reality it was a brilliant explosion of daylight buried under layers of darkened varnish. The painting itself had been hiding in plain sight, its true nature obscured by time. But here's the genius part. While every other militia portrait of the era showed stiff rows of gentlemen posed like a corporate board photo, Rembrandt did something revolutionary. He made them move. He turned a static group portrait into a scene of explosive action, figures charging forward, a drum beating, a musket firing, a mysterious girl in a glowing yellow dress appearing from nowhere. It was chaos, theatre, and technical brilliance all at once, so radical that it confused the very people who commissioned it. The artist who painted it was not just any artist. Rembrandt van Rijn was already Amsterdam's most sought-after painter in 1642, known for his psychological depth and his mastery of light and shadow. But at the height of his success, he created a work so unconventional, so defiant of expectations, that it would become both his most celebrated masterpiece and, according to legend, the beginning of his decline. But the question we all ask is, what does this painting really mean? The title is The Night Watch, or rather that's what everyone calls it. But the real title is Militia Company of District 2 under the command of Captain Frans Banninck Kock. Rembrandt painted it in 1642 when he was 36 years old, at the absolute peak of his powers. And this wasn't meant to be displayed in a museum. It was commissioned for the Great Hall of the Klovenjersdolen, the Amsterdam Civic Guard headquarters. The scale tells you this was meant to dominate a room. The painting originally measured approximately 363 by 437 centimetres. That's nearly 12 feet tall and over 14 feet wide. Though it was later trimmed on all sides, especially the left, when it was moved to Amsterdam's town hall in 1715, what remains is still monumental. Today, it hangs in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam in its own specially designed gallery, the Gallery of Honor. The composition explodes with movement. At the centre, Captain Frans Banninck Kock, dressed in black with a red sash, strides forward with his left hand extended, giving orders to his lieutenant, Willem van Ruytenburg, who's dressed in radiant yellow and white. The captain's shadow falls across the lieutenant's golden costume, a virtuoso detail that shows Rembrandt's complete control of light. But they're surrounded by chaos. 18 militia members crowd the scene, some loading muskets, others raising pikes and banners, a drummer beating his drum on the right. Figures emerge from deep shadow, overlapping, moving in different directions. There's no orderly lineup, no careful arrangement where everyone gets equal prominence. And then there's the girl. A young woman in a glowing yellow dress appears between the two central figures, a dead chicken hanging from her belt, illuminated as if by divine light. She shouldn't be there. She's not a militia member, not a patron who paid to be included. She's a mystery that has puzzled scholars for centuries. Your gaze is pulled irresistibly to the two central figures by Rembrandt's use of light. Then it scatters across the canvas, following musket barrels, pike shafts, gesturing hands, and watchful faces emerging from shadow. The painting doesn't let your eye rest. It forces you to explore, just as the militia is preparing to march out. Rembrandt employed his signature technique, dramatic chiaroscuro, the bold contrast between light and shadow. but he pushed it further here than in any previous group portrait. Deep blacks swallow some figures entirely, while brilliant light picks out others. Golds, yellows and reds punctuate the darkness. The palette creates a sense of drama, of theatre, of action frozen at its climactic moment. It's 1642, the height of the Dutch Golden Age. Amsterdam is the wealthiest city in Europe, grown rich on trade, finance, and maritime power. The Dutch Republic has won its independence from Spain, and civic militia companies, originally formed for defence, now serve primarily as social clubs for the urban elite. Group portraits of these militia companies were a prestigious commission, but they followed a formula: neat rows of gentlemen, each paying an equal fee, each receiving equal prominence in the painting. It was democratic, orderly, Dutch. Rembrandt shattered that formula completely. The same year Rembrandt painted this, Galileo died, and the Dutch were consolidating their global trading empire. Amsterdam was a city of merchants who valued both civic pride and individual prominence. They commissioned art that reflected their status, but they expected decorum, not revolution. In Dutch militia portraits, the convention was clear. Everyone who paid got equal treatment. Each member contributed to the commission based on their placement. Those in front paid more, those in back paid less. But everyone was clearly visible, clearly identifiable, and given appropriate dignity. That's why the legend persists that Rembrandt's patrons were furious with the finished work. Some figures are barely visible in shadow. Others are cut off or turned away. The two central figures, the captain and his lieutenant, dominate everything. It broke all the rules. The chaos isn't a flaw, it's the point. This is what action looks like, what movement feels like, what energy and life mean. The mysterious girl in yellow has generated countless interpretations. Some believe she's an allegorical figure, the chicken's claws, klauw in Dutch, suggesting the militia company's name, Cloveniers. Others see her as a symbol of Amsterdam itself, or perhaps just a clever mascot. Her presence transforms the painting from documentary into something more symbolic, more layered with meaning. Rembrandt was at a pivotal moment in his life when he painted this. His wife Saskia died the same year, possibly while he was working on it. When it was first hung in the Cloveniers-doelen, it must have been overwhelming. But over the centuries, layers of varnish darkened the painting, turning what was a dramatic daytime scene into what appeared to be a night watch. That misunderstanding stuck. When the painting was cleaned in the 1940s, conservators discovered the original colours: the brilliant yellow, the warm light, the blue sky visible in the background. It wasn't night at all. Rembrandt never made statements about what this painting meant. He let the image speak for itself. The Night Watch isn't just the most famous Dutch painting ever created. It's a reminder that the greatest art often comes from artists brave enough to ignore what's expected and create what's necessary.